Tuesday morning on my way down to City Hall to meet with Councilman Zeke Kellen. He's the councilman of the 1st District in Baltimore City, which is the district where I live and work. I actually had an opportunity to meet with him once before he got elected, and just now kind of, it's been, I guess, a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, and just want to kind of let him know what we've been up to. He was at 15 minutes late. I had to park across 83. I thought he would have worked out parking for me in front of City Hall, but I guess not.
So I remember the founding story, and
Right.
you had some struggles, and then sort of like
When I tried to make positive changes in my life got super boring. I white knuckled it for several years, and then eventually I just went back to the bars because I was lonely and I was
Right.
bored.
right,
And honestly, like, churches kind of get it on some level, but a lot of times they don't even do anything fun. And you need to have both. You need to have healthy community. You need to be giving back, making a difference in your world. But you also need to have fun things to do too. And that's kind of what we've created. So like what we're really working on now is building out. This is kind of the ladder that basically it's adding an intention to social. So it's
Right.
like, hey, do something fun, but the intention is we're going to make each other a better version of ourselves. So which automatically means it's going to cost you something. Like, so when you add intention to something, like I might be just going to the movies, but if I call a buddy of mine that I know is maybe going through something and I invite him, I might have to go pick him up. I might have to pay for his movie because I'm trying to get him from here to here.
like if you were presenting this, is it about sobriety? Like, is it about
Yeah.
getting people away from whatever, whether it's heroin or alcohol or
Yeah, and see, Clay Stamp, he was on the opioid task force. That's why we met. And that's why he really loved it. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to be known as the sober group because when you lack community,
Right.
it could manifest itself in so many ways. It could be sex addiction. It could be porn. It could be
Right.
Tinder and whatever. Like,
Sure.
so for us, it's like when I made the decision to get sober, it was like a freaking mountain. Like, it was like, oh my God, I have to lift this. And
Right.
it was that, and it felt that heavy when I lifted it. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, when you have healthy relationships, that mountain shrinks and it becomes this thing that you're like, I don't need alcohol because I got so many other good things. Like, every week, my week is full with birthday parties and just doing life with this great group of people. I don't want to hook up with that girl and burn that relationship because I love hanging out with her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you teach people just to like live like that, it's like the problem starts to go away. And it becomes like,
I mean, it's really, really, really tough, and it's a nationwide epidemic. So, in the sort of like sell for this thing, is there a world in which it's presented? I mean, to you, it's about the ladder, and you're building intentional living, and you're building all these things. Could there be, could you substantiate data to say this is also about getting people away from drug
Yeah.
use or alcohol use?
Yeah,
Or,
I mean, it definitely is an outcome that it happens. I just would never, I don't want to position it like, I talked to somebody else from the governor's office, I can't remember her name, and she goes, I have a problem when I look on your website and I see pictures of people with beers in front of them. And I'm like, you want the people to come. You know what I mean? The people that need the help aren't going to come if it doesn't look fun.
Right.
Like, I don't want to position it so that I can get donors. I mean, great, I'll make it work somehow without money, but I care about that person. Even service, I like to volunteer, but that's not why I do it. I volunteer because I'm trying to get the person from the bottom of the ladder to the top of the ladder. And service is something that they need to do. They need to sacrifice.
Right.
That's what love is.
Right.
Is giving sacrificially. That's why social media doesn't work, because you don't sacrifice for anybody. To hit a like button doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
When I have to show up at your house and help you move, it sucks. When I go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, it also sucks. But then guess what? After, I'm happy I did it. You know what I mean? Because it gives me something. And it's the same way with relationships. It sucks in the moment sometimes to sacrifice for someone, but it produces something. And that's what we're trying to tell people and encourage. But yeah, I mean, sobriety is 100% an effect of it, but I never want to be positioned as the sober group, because the people that you want to help might not ever want. I didn't say I want to get sober until I wrecked everything.
Right.
I don't want to wait for people to wreck everything. I want them to say, hey, look, let me help you become the best version of yourself. You might quit drinking in the process of getting there, or I damn sure hope you quit using drugs, but all that, because that's only one part of it, becoming the best version of yourself. It's going to be volunteering, it's going to be showing up, being a good son or daughter, you know, good friend, all these things. You know, if you look at my life 6 years ago and today, I'm not even close to the same. And sobriety is a part of it, but it's only one part. You know,
You ever read, there's a guy, Robert Putnam, sociologist, wrote this book called Bowling Alone. And he basically looks at American civic behavior, and what he argues is sort of the prior generation was very much engaged in communal activity, right? Be it the church, be it, I mean, he hones in on bowling leagues, right? Like people participated, unions, you know, that there were sort of these social
Clubs.
networks. Yeah, right. The
American whatever
club.
Yeah.
And to a large extent, Americans are now bowling alone. Like, we're not participating in structured, I mean, union membership has declined,
100%.
church membership has declined, bowling, you know, I mean, you're not seeing it. And I think it's left a void and a vacuum. And I think where, unfortunately, people have, like, and I get sucked into this, people have picked up is, like, you know, this thing or this thing.
Social media makes it worse.
Right.
You feel like you got connection, but you really don't.
But you don't. And you're behind a computer screen and you're not actually having a human interaction, and a lot of it is toxic and a lot of it is not healthy, and, you know, there's plenty of research on that. And so I think what is true in what you're doing is there is a void and a need for community, and for, like, strengthening self through communal activity.
The meeting went really good. Just got out. Not really asking him for anything, just been kind of sharing what we've been doing, and he really believes in it, and he agreed to come out to our service project on November 22nd. So one of the things that the councilman and I talked about right as I left was the problem is just too big for a few people at the top to fix it, to be responsible for fixing it themselves. You know, a few politicians or pastors, or, you know, even people that run nonprofits like me. Like, it's just too big. It's going to take the work of everyone to do it. And, you know, I feel like CityFam puts some practicality behind it, because to say, hey, love your neighbor, love your friends. This is just a really tangible way that you can go about it. So I'm using my birthday to raise money for CityFam. So in exchange, so rather than asking for gifts, I put up a post. Facebook allows you to do this thing where you can donate your birthday to a fundraiser, and I chose CityFam, of course, because we need the money. So I think it's up to over $700. If you're watching this video and you believe in what we're doing, you want to support us, I can promise you it's good soil to plant that seed in. Then I would love for you guys to donate. It means the world to us. Even the smallest amount means a lot to us right now. We're in a really critical stage of wanting to see this thing go forward and needing to put some gas in the tank. I kind of likened it when I was meeting with somebody from the governor's office. They were totally amazed by what we're doing, and I said, yeah, it's awesome, but it's like having this Ferrari sitting in your driveway and there's no gas in the tank, and all we can do is look at it. And that's kind of what it feels like sometimes, because we got this great thing, we got this big vision, we see the potential, we see, you know, the unique value that we're bringing to the world, and we just need some gas to make it go. So if you'd like to donate, we'd love that. Anyway, talk to you guys later.